everybody, welcome back to our channel. My name is Terrell.
And my name is Brendan.
And we're gonna BNT Reacts.
And today we are checking out a deep dive into the expanded universe Disney Channel accidentally created. And this is by Seamus Gorman.
Definitely interested to check out Seamus. This is our first time checking out Seamus, actually. Didn't even know about Seamus until y'all, so look at that. But definitely interested to get into this Disney Channel multi-universe whole thing. Yeah. Listen, Disney is like the Marvel. Disney Channel is like the Marvel.
It definitely was growing up. Like, all the crossovers and everything they had, it was crazy.
But Nick was too, because I guess all channels were, because it was a lot of Nickelodeon shows in the same universe too. I would say more Nickelodeon shows than Disney, actually.
I think, yes. Nickelodeon definitely had like their universe with like the pair of phones and all that, but I think a lot more characters crossed over in Disney.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, definitely.
But like the shows were set in the same universe. Yeah, Nick, definitely.
Man, make sure y'all get y'all snacks and everything, because it's a pretty long video. I got my little frozen grapes. Brendan hating on them. But let's get right into it though. Let's go. Let's watch.
I've made a discovery that I think is going to ripple through generations. I'm picturing like my discovery like dropping in a pond of water and it just spreading across the world's oceans, you know? We all know our Disney Channel shows. I personally grew up with Disney Channel a little bit. I feel like I watched it religiously for about 4, maybe 5 years as a kid. And upon watching these shows as an adult,
I was
they
longer.
don't look as good as
I watched
I
for a
remember
while.
them to. At all, to be honest. Just a lot of bad green screen effects everywhere. The humor is quite something. It will be like, yo, I was walking down the road and I tripped and fell.
That's the laugh track, baby.
And then they wait for the laugh track to finish too, so Anyway, the thing that got me really intrigued with Disney Channel this week was the crossover episodes. You see, they didn't just have these shows and all be standalone shows on their own. They decided to do something fun, crossing their big shows over and just like expanding their universes, I guess. Was this like, when did crossovers first come about? Disney Channel kind of paved the way for television crossovers, you know? They pretty much invented that shit.
No,
only like the feeling.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
For me,
because Nickelodeon had the Jimmy Neutron and the Timmy crossovers years before Disney Channel went on
ever
crossovers.
Experience with a crossover. Now I'm a massive Marvel fanboy, and I just expect everything to be crossed over, you know, like, I fully just buy the Pixar theory, I have the book and everything. When I see the Lightyear movie and they don't make references to Monsters, Inc., I'm gonna be let down. But back then, back in 2004, 2005, 2006, I didn't even know what a crossover was. I didn't even know you could do that. This blew my mind. And the ramifications
they did have crossovers before
Disney
that.
Channel
I'm sorry, I was mistaken.
This expanded universe they've built is, well, I've already told you, it's gonna ripple the universe. Yeah, no, we've gone bigger than the world now. I'm imagining someone dropping a pebble in the Milky Way and then feeling it on the Andromeda galaxy. So we're gonna start with the first crossover episode, which was The Sweet Life of Hannah Montana.
That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana.
That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana.
How do I remember that?
The best one?
Yeah, it is one of the best.
Because Raven Curry, not one of, the best one.
So the first one is
Miss Raven Simone Curry.
First, because my memory.
So dog.
We're gonna kidnap my here.
Not the vision board.
I don't know why I thought like, yo, this foam is really struggling to get a pin in it. Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. I didn't intentionally do his crotch. I just. So these were like the big free shows at the time, and it was Disney's first attempt at a crossover episode. And when I say it doesn't really feel like a crossover episode, I'm not lying, because that'd be a weird thing to lie about. So all of these crossover episodes kind of have a similar structure.
What do you mean?
They have one episode from each of the shows.
I feel like it wasn't Disney's first attempt. I feel like it was like a Lilo Stitch and a Proud Family before this.
Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. And in each of these episodes,
I didn't know that there was a Lilo and Stitch Proud Family
crossover.
crossover.
Cameo in the episode, and
I can't remember it was before this. I think it was before this.
Has gone to work at the SS Tipton for the day, and therefore meets like a few of these guys, and Hannah Montana wasn't even in it. Then you have the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode, which is pretty much a regular Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode with
just
Raven.
Raven.
Just Raven. there. And then in the final 2 minutes of the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody episode, Hannah Montana shows up. Everyone's like really excited because I guess Hannah Montana is also canonically the world's biggest pop star in their universe too. And then the Hannah Montana episode is just, the episode starts at the Tipton Hotel, and Maddie helps Hannah Montana pack her bags to leave the Tipton Hotel, and then she goes home. And it's a regular Hannah Montana episode from there. But the more important thing is that it means that all of these shows are canonically connected in the
What are you doing with that rope? With the
one
string?
big cinematic universe, but not. These weren't released to cinemas. That's so Raven and Zack and Cody. They are connected for sure. And Hannah
I'm dead
Montana-
with this yarn.
Oh my gosh.
I think you have way too much.
Oh my gosh. This is
How
falling
can I
apart.
describe so easily?
Wait, can I show you what I would do?
They are all connected. I wasn't even in the show. They are all connected. Don't worry, we will discuss what the rippling effects on the universe that these shows create are. But before we get into all that, we're going to talk about the second crossover. Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana, which technically only connects like one more show to this universe. But also Sweet Life on Deck is technically its own separate show, so I'm gonna like, I'm gonna put a pin for that. I did that one quite well. What does this mean to the canon? I'm looking at the wrong camera. Now this crossover is pretty much done in the exact same way. Wizards of Waverly Place being the first part, Sweet Life on Deck being the second part, and Hannah Montana being the third part yet again. Essentially opening in the exact same way with Justin winning some sort of raffle to get to go on the SS Tipton. And almost as if this is like a theme, Hannah Montana is hardly even a part of the crossover. It really is just kind of a crossover between Sweet Life on Deck and Wizards of Waverly Place, where Hannah Montana kind of has some like side scenes and occasionally meets characters, but not for very long. And quite interestingly, they reference the first crossover.
I cake off you. No, that was actually my twin brother. I was the cute one standing next to him.
Oh, and you kept the shirt. My fans are awesome.
And then the third episode is kind of like a regular Hannah Montana episode, just on the SS Tipton. Unfortunately for this episode, Hannah Montana never actually interacts with any of the Wizards characters. They don't even like cross over at all.
She
There are
doesn't?
parts where
I didn't even
genuinely
notice
wondered
that.
If Hannah Montana or Miley Cyrus was even there on the day they filmed it, because all of her scenes are filmed in her cabin. Like, they do write her out of it quite well. They're like, oh my god, Hannah, there are screaming fans outside your cabin door. There is no way you can get out.
Why is she even on the boat?
Yeah, the
Why
reason
was
she's
she
on
on
the
the
boat
boat?
is because she is doing a gig in Hawaii, which is where the boat is going. That is why
Why
there
not
is
just take
really
a-
good
Yeah,
reason.
just fly.
Yeah, just fly there.
And also, the Russos are in New York, so, like, I don't know what their journey on the cruise ship was. Did the cruise ship go through the Panama Canal? I also think a really interesting thing about this one, especially in the Sweet Life on Deck episode, is that they decide to just group the characters together with the ones they think that they'll, like, bond with best. There's
Yeah.
like moments where all the characters are together.
Zack and
So
Max
they
were
put
together.
Alex Russo and Zach together because they're both like the mischievous ones. Justin with Mr. Mosby because they're both trying to catch what they're doing. And then they put Max and London Tipton together
Oh my God.
because they're both dumb.
They did put them
and they
together,
find
too.
that funny. So for me, these were the shows that I grew up with Disney Channel on. I think I stopped watching it when Wizards of Waverly Place finished. I think that was like the show that got me into Disney Channel. Like when the finale came out, I felt like the era of my life watching Disney Channel was kind of.
I don't even think I made it
there
to
are
the
a
end
few
of
more
Wizards of Waverly.
crossovers that came out in the next
sorry.
5 years. I saw the start
Hey
of the
there.
shows I'm going to mention here. I definitely saw episodes on now and again. I mean, my sister was younger than me. She'd be watching.
I started watching
The
once.
next crossover episode is Charlie
Andy Mack
Shakes
went
It
off.
Up. You might have guessed.
I don't
Charlie
remember
Shakes It
this
Up
one.
is a
I
connection
remember that.
between Good Luck Charlie
Let's shake it up.
and Shake It Up.
I mean, yeah, I know, I understood that. I just,
I remember because Amy Duncan was dancing on the
This
set of
is
Shake It Up.
probably
Bitch.
my favorite of the
I missed
crossovers.
that.
I started watching
This is
most
your
of it,
favorite?
And I just thought the chemistry of
I haven't even seen
just
it.
the
This is what I
family
haven't
in
seen.
Good Luck Charlie in like their massive house. Oh my god, I didn't even get into this earlier, but the houses. The Russos own a sub shop in New York City and just have the biggest open plan
They do.
room and kitchen you will ever. Like I'm still,
In New
like,
York,
I really like this.
that's a lot,
one
yeah.
episode where
they had a whole
Duncan,
upstairs and
or at least
everything
the
too.
female Duncan,
Like an
had
upstairs
go
to the upstairs.
Chicago, and accidentally they got picked up by the wrong driver at the airport. and ended up going to the Shake It
Oh,
Up
I vaguely
studio,
remember this.
and they locked the actual Duncan sisters in a closet and danced on Shake It Up while getting taught by Bella Thorne and Zendaya, whose characters I can't remember the names of. With this one,
Susie
I
and
like
Rocky.
the two shows crossing over, because with the free-part crossovers, there's no point where all the characters share scenes together. It felt like they were like trying to squeeze them together and like see what characters worked well together and stuff. With this one, it didn't feel forced or unnatural at all, really. It just felt like they had an episode of Good Luck Charlie where they wanted the girls to go to Chicago, and just felt it made sense to meet the cast of Shake It Up. They could have easily pushed out another episode on Shake It Up with the Good Luck Charlie cast on it. They didn't, and I really like the style of that. I think it worked really well. So yeah, 8 out of 10, my favorite episode of the lot. So these two shows are now connected, as are these 5. They aren't connected to each other yet, but we're getting there. Because the next crossover is, of course, between the other 2 shows from this era that I
Jessie.
remember.
Jessie and
Because
Austin.
apparently there are more, but I don't remember. I found out quite alarmingly, they have an entire show with a talking dog. That I
Oh,
could not be
what?
grateful
Do they
for.
have a crossover?
You know what I realized as well?
I think so. I think they did have a crossover.
I did not watch Dog with a Blog.
What is this? Oh,
They had a crossover with somebody. I can't remember who it was.
Okay, this is a lot more than I actually.
Like, when it's like, oh, Disney Channel kind of fell off.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm
Kinda like
confused.
going,
I don't know.
Oh yeah, you know, baby food kind of fell off. I don't eat that nearly as much anymore. It's like, no, it's just they're not making it for you anymore. But Dog with a Blog, you're asking people to say that if you're making shows like that.
Yeah.
Austin and Jessie and Ali All-Star New Year. This episode's quite chaotic, actually. It's Austin finds out that he has got the
I actually
opportunity
like
to
this
play
one.
at Times Square for New Year's.
Yeah, I
And
watched
apparently
this one,
he just
and I
gets
liked it.
performance
Probably because
without
my
a
niece, when she was
rehearsal
younger
for it.
too,
They
she used
just
to
spent
play
the whole
this
episode
bad.
just
It's a
them
bad.
traveling from
Bad.
Florida
It's a bad.
to New York
It's a
and
bad.
just having the worst luck imaginable. And I'm not kidding here. The episode ends with Jessie flying them on a helicopter onto the stage where he performs Times Square with just perfect choreography. They have the song he just wrote on the day
Perfect.
for this performance, just ready for him.
What the fuck?
So, I'm just gonna pin these 2 onto the board.
I walked up to the president of Disney and I said,
I want to make history. And that's what this is.
You wanted to make history? Well, she has. She's the first person to appear on this board twice. Oh no, Zach and Cody technically, but he's the first person to appear on the board as 2 separate characters, though. However, for now, they are not connected. The only connection we have is Jessie and Austin. I need to do that too. The next crossover is between Good Luck Charlie and Jessie, as you may have guessed,
Yeah.
called
But like Charlie had a
Love
lot of
Jessie.
crossovers.
New York
I
City
didn't
Christmas,
remember this
which
either.
technically then connects all 4
And
of
I
these
like both of those
episodes, other than
shows.
The
Okay,
yarn in
whatever.
this, where Teddy has got to go to NYU just to kind of look around. I didn't actually go to university. Yeah, look where I am now. Would I be doing this if I was at university? And as you may have guessed, you know what takes place in New York? The Jessie takes place in New York. I feel bad that I'm calling this a cinematic universe. This is more of just a cinematic America. It's just like every episode, like, this takes place in New York. This takes place in California. This takes place in Florida, Chicago, Denver. And it's kind of like, oh my god, this character now needs to go to New York. Which show can we cross over with? Let's cross over with the show that takes place in New York. Basically, I'm calling it the Disney Channel Cinematic America, but the ripple effect of this video will leave an impact on the universe. I also think this is an episode that requires a bit more like prior knowledge of the shows, because PJ meets like his ex-girlfriend in New York as a part of the episode, and as someone who hasn't watched this show in at least like 10 years, I had no idea who that character that he'd met was. I did not recognize her at all. So there was like a moment where she walked out and like you have the like background audience go like, oh! I was like, who's that? Sorry. It's also a Christmas special and ends with them singing, "We wish you a Merry Christmas" in congregation with an entire subway carriage. That's actually how the episode ends. They're just singing "We wish you a Merry Christmas" all together. And the second episode is just kind of weird. Like, apparently Teddy and PJ can't get home for Christmas, so Jessie lets them stay with the Ross family. Are they called the Ross? funny. And it's like a How I Met Your Mother episode where they all get really, really drunk and then try and piece together what happened the day before when they wake up all like in random places. I think they got like drugged or something. It was a really weird theme for being in a Disney Channel show. I also love the fact in this episode they didn't know what characters would get along, so they were like, let's just split it up into boys and girls because the boys will like the boys' parts and the girls will like the girls' parts. Anyway, that creates a canonical connection that I now need to establish. This is the big one. A connection between Jessie and Good Luck Charlie.
Oh, God.
Let's just do one big... And for about, I want to say nearly 10 years, it looked like this was just the case. We had two separate Disney Channel cinematic Americas that were connected to themselves but not to each other. That was until July 2020, when the world needed Disney Channel most. It decided to create something spectacular. Raven about bunk'd. Now, I'm going to be honest with this one. I don't really know either of these shows. I saw bits of Jessie, which I know bunk'd is a follow-up show to, but also this was like season 4 bunk'd, which was beyond the point where all the Jessie characters had all left. I didn't know a single character in bunk'd.
I haven't watched that show at all.
I also have seen That's So Raven, bits of it. I definitely haven't seen every episode.
You mean Raven's Home?
And I have not watched a single episode
Isn't
of
it
Raven's Home, but I know it's the spin-off show that's a follow-up.
DVDs?
Same. We was good, Judy, until you said that. You ain't never... Baby, do me a favor and go download Disney Plus and go watch some episodes now. We ain't playing.
Yeah.
This ain't no game.
So Raven. With Raven starring in both the shows. We're experiencing some technical difficulties.
She is the queen.
In a second.
She is.
So my mind-blowing revelation.
Her show is
Meaning,
like...
with these two shows crossing over... No, we need more suspense. I need to make this bigger. Which means with these two shows crossing over... Is that a better take? Or do I go even more intense?
No.
Which means with these two shows crossing over... I think you guys can see where I'm going with this. It's all connected. Wizards of Waverly Place is connected to Good Luck Charlie. Hannah Montana is connected to Bunk'd. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is connected to Shake It Up. I don't think you quite understand what this means for the fabrics of the universe that has been created. Okay, I need a break. I'll be back in a minute. Just. This was supposed to be the sponsored section, but no brand wanted to take this video on, apparently. And while this may seem fun, there are questions that are raised when this all is taken into account. If all these characters exist in the same universe, you have to start wondering, what does that mean when Disney Channel started just reusing the actors from one show to guest star in another show? Because I don't know if you noticed, but they like doing that a lot. Selena Gomez, not only is she the star as Alex Russo in Wizards of Waverly Place, but she appears in an episode of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody where she is dating Cody and gets cast in a play where she has to kiss Zack. And then, in the crossover between Sweet Life on Deck and Wizards of Waverly Place, she is just talking with Zack and Cody like that never happened. Like, they never addressed the, oh, you know, I met someone who looked exactly like you like 4 years ago. Never gets said. What's that about? Not even just that with Selena Gomez. She's probably the most problematic person here. Yes, Selena, I'm cancelling you for your problematic ways of appearing in Disney Channel stuff. She also appears in Hannah Montana as a character called
And then she
Rebecca,
appeared in
who is,
Sunny with a
like,
Chance
Hannah
as
Montana's
herself, though,
rival
like,
throughout
as
those
the celebrity
episodes.
scene
And I guess,
going on.
technically speaking, Hannah Montana and Alex Russo never meet in that crossover, but they are in a crossover episode which contains 3 parts that they both feature in. Another really problematic character is Rainy Alina Rodriguez. Yes, I knew. Next is the icon, Rainy Alina Rodriguez. Not only is she the star, well, no, she's not. She's a character
not the star.
in Austin Alley, which, as you'll remember, is connected to Jessie, even though there isn't a
She's my
direct
favorite
thread.
Austin Alley.
She's in Bunk'd,
I
right?
had to redo all that. Remember the mess?
I don't
Those
think
two shows
so.
are connected
Is she?
directly in an episode where they cross over. And
I've
she
never
actively
seen Bunk'd, I don't know.
Jessie in that episode. But guess what? She appears in Bunk'd, the
Yeah.
spin-off show to Jessie as a guidance counselor, I haven't actually watched the episodes. I just read that on her wiki page. As a recurring character, though, and that's just a problem between Jessie and Bunk'd. That isn't even like a thing in the big cinematic universe, but she also causes problems in the big cinematic universe too. Rainy Alina Rodriguez is also in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody for one episode. You know, the one where like Zack and Cody rent out London Tipton's room for a day, and she's one of the girls that's going.
The girl
to,
from what she called too, Camp Rock
room. And technically speaking, if Austin Alley is connected to Jessie, which is connected to Bunk'd, which is connected to Raven's home, which is connected to That's So Raven, which is connected to Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, that should not be possible. And I'm not going to sleep at night knowing that. You know who else is a problem? Bridget Mendler. Despite meeting characters from Jessie and Shake It Up, she also stars in Wizards of Waverly Place as like a large recurring vampire
Yeah, for like a whole
character.
season.
And she like dies. Her story in Wizards of Waverly Place is that she's a vampire who dates Justin, and then Alex starts dating a werewolf, and then in like a big episode, they reveal the werewolf boyfriend and the vampire girlfriend dated before.
I'll never stop loving you!
And then he like scratches her or something, and apparently according to the rules of the Wizards of Waverly Place universe, if a vampire gets scratched by a werewolf, that means she goes back to looking like the age she's supposed to be. I don't know if she like fully died, but she pretty much dies. But that doesn't work.
I forgot how crazy
Good
she
Luck
looked.
Charlie, which as we've covered, it is. How make it make sense. We also have Brenda Song, who plays London Tipton in both Sweet Life of Zack
One of the
and Cody and
goats.
Sweet Life on Deck,
Yes, I
which
love
as you
her.
know has a direct connection to That's So Raven, which
Yeah.
she appears in for about 15 seconds.
To be fair, Brenda Song was in so much shit.
She was, yeah.
If we really want to talk about the most problematic person and like who was in everything, Brenda Song has been in many Disney DComs, many Disney shows. Brenda Song literally has been in everything in terms of Disney. Like she got her face out there.
Tipton in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and is like excited. Do you really think I wouldn't notice this? David Henry, who plays Justin in Wizards of Waverly
Was
Place,
in That's So Raven.
a character called Larry
Yep.
in That's So Raven. Again, they're kind of connected through like a few things, but that can't happen. You can't do that. What are you looking up?
Wait, have you talked about Wish Gone Amish?
Yeah, that doesn't count. I don't know if you guys know, but Wish Gonna Miss is kind of like some weekend they did to try and promote Corey in the House, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and Hannah Montana and Warwick.
I remember that.
Connecting them all. It isn't a crossover episode, and technically Corey in the House already is in the universe because it's connected to That's So Raven
Right.
through being
That's
a
another
spin-off to it. And maybe that creates a problem with Jason Dolly, who's also PJ, but I'm not counting. Let's just forget about that. It's also worth noting that Rico from Hannah Montana appears in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Wizards of Waverly Place, despite the fact these shows cross over. Albeit his cameo in Wizards of Waverly Place is as Max's conscience, so I don't know if that counts as a real character, nor does he appear or meet any of the characters from these episodes. Callum Worthy also appears in Good Luck Charlie. How's that work? Bella Ford from Shake It Up appears in Wizards of Waverly Place as Max's girlfriend. She literally gets told that they are wizards, and through the like long life, she is like in the same universe as them. No one noticed that. No one thought they'd point that out. Are you guys okay with this? I know not many people. Matter of fact, I think you've got to go for about 3 shows to have someone who will have met both of them. But it should be said though that maybe characters can appear in shows more than once, and this is where one of the most interesting crossovers comes into being. You see, in the Karate Catastrophe episode of Jessie, Mr. Mosby appears and has a full-on conversation with Jessie in that episode. As you see there, Jessie meeting with Mr. Mosby, of course connected to Jessie, but also connected to Sweet Life on Deck, where Debbie Ryan appears as Bailey. And you might think, do they not address this? How can they do a cameo when the character from this show is appearing as another character? How can they not address? But they do address this. Right at the end of the episode, Mr. Mosby is seen on the phone with an older Cody talking to him about how he saw someone that looked exactly like Bailey, which I guess further connects it to everything, just like they're all connected to that moment, just like proves it. And does that mean technically the same actor can play multiple characters in the Disney Channel universe? And if that's the case, we don't even need the board. Doesn't mean anything. Characters are just allowed to look like people that already exist in this universe, and no one will worry. I guess that's the happy ending We all need it, and
That's
that is the moral of the story and the lesson to be learned here. Except for the fact, I don't know if it ever gets explained whether like magic then exists in like the Hannah Montana and Sweet Life on deck, and well, technically it like canonically. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, you can like and subscribe and watch another video.
Alright, what did you think about this video? And also, to be fair, they do say that everyone has a twin out there.
Or like a doppelganger.
Yeah, everyone has a doppelganger out there, or like multiple doppelgangers. So that. Okay.
According to my family, mine lives near my family. But this was, it was good. It was interesting. Seamus was funny. Had some funny moments. And it was nice to kind of like, I guess maybe relive, kind of like, or remember the crossover episodes that I do remember. And it is interesting to kind of think about how they're all connected, or, you know, what really was going on with them, because I guess, like, I did know, I was like, oh, well, yeah, that character was in that, and that character was in that, but then, like, actually looking at, like, how the shows are connected, it's like, oh, yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, that doesn't either. But it was good. It was good.
Listen, yeah, I very much enjoyed this. It was very entertaining. This is like, I like videos like this because it takes you back to your childhood and talking about these shows, because really, after a certain age, you don't talk about none of these shows really at all anymore. Like, you acknowledge them from here and there, but you don't really like go into a deep dive about the shows like you used to. So it was fun to see that and kind of see like these universes tie in together. In my opinion, That's So Raven, Sweet Life, and Hannah Montana was the best. I enjoyed everybody in that. I like the fact that everybody didn't intermingle and meet, just because I feel like that wouldn't happen most of the time. Like, you don't meet every single person that's staying in the hotel. So, like, I kind of understand why Zach and London had met Hannah versus Raven, who was also just visiting. Like, well, Raven met Hannah. Like, I'm trying to word it right, but in terms of all of these, I can understand how some of these characters may have not met or ran into each other. But listen, this is very entertaining. I think one of the first ones, it was Lilo Stitch, and I think it was Jake the Dragon. I remember that, and I remember Lilo. I definitely remember Lilo Stitch and the Proud Family. Now, I remember that.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember that crossover.
I don't remember that.
So that was I think that was like the officially first one. But overall, this is a very entertaining video. It was great to watch. Anyway, that's all of this reaction. If you like it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you also hit the subscribe button and go there, comment down below for more reaction requests. And give me more videos like this or anything, and we're gonna react to it, y'all.
And make sure to follow us on our social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and follow both of our separate channels.
Yes, that is all for this reaction. Then we're out. Bye.